Good evening, everyone.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm still waiting for my brain to fully get back. So, had a major operation in October that knocked me out for a while, quite a while. So, thank you all for being here tonight. So we have a lot of information to talk about. And if you did not get an agenda at check-in, please do. It has some important information as well as on the back. And then there might be some additional handouts of interest as well. Let's see. Okay, so for those of you that are here for the first time tonight, my name is Jackie Metcalf, and I'm the founder and executive director of Texas Health and Environment Alliance. And we're the home of the San Jacinto River Coalition. This was actually one of our original t-shirts probably 15 plus years ago. Yeah, we have some exciting stuff to talk about tonight, some frustrating stuff to talk about tonight. So we work to protect public health and the environment from the harmful effects of toxic waste. When it comes to toxic waste and contamination, we focus on the old stuff, the stuff that got dumped decades ago that has yet to be dealt with. So to help us help you, I wanted to ask really quick about how you heard about this meeting. I know many of you here get our emails and our calls. How many of you heard about this meeting from a yard sign? Great. Perfect, perfect. And so how many of you are here tonight because you got an email directly from us? Wonderful. And how about because of a phone call? Okay, great.
I always just put it on my calendar ahead of time.
There you go. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. So we were founded out of necessity, working with the San Jacinto River Waste Pits Superfund site. And I'm going to do pretty much a bird's eye, high-level, quick view of this site to get to where we are right now. So the Superfund site, as you can see here, this blue line is the boundary. It's an ambiguous line. It was drawn because the EPA has to draw a line. Their words, not mine. And it doesn't necessarily mean that's where the contamination stops, or that's where the contaminated fish are within. It's just a line drawn on a map. And this is I-10 right here. We're up over here in Highlands. This is the Channelview side. The northern pit right here is what we're going to talk the most about tonight. The yellow pit is the southern pit. In 2008, the waste pits was listed under the federal government's national priority for cleanup. And there's a variety of different contaminants in the site, dioxin and furans most notably, but also PCBs and heavy metals. Some of the big milestones over time. After Hurricane Harvey, we received the record of decision that the EPA was ordering a full and complete cleanup of the waste pits. However, we are still battling for that to take place for the northern site. As the cartoon indicates here, the responsible parties have pushed incessantly to attempt to contain the waste material in the river. And the EPA has authorized an enormous amount of delays since that 2017 decision. Now, if you think about 2017, that was Trump's first administration. And in that administration, the guy he first appointed to be head of the EPA prioritized Superfund. That was like his pet project. And so now we're back under that administration, a different appointee, but they again are saying that Superfund is one of their top priorities. They have 5 pillars of priorities under this administration, and Superfund is one of them. So whereas before it was like, this is the one thing, right? So in the end of last year, in September of last year, the EPA approved the plan for cleanup, but it was with specific conditions. So the EPA basically was trying to move this site forward towards actual cleanup, but weren't certain that the plan they had was absolute best, but it was close, essentially. So they said to the responsible parties, we're approving this cleanup plan with these conditions. So once that was done in October, the EPA had told us that they were going to come here and host a community meeting and a community advisory meeting, which is mostly government officials. And then the government shut down. And so those meetings were canceled. And as of recently, the EPA does not have a plan to reschedule those meetings. Still, it's now February, which still feels a little weird to say. But now in February, there's still no plan to come and meet with the community. And I sent him an email and I said, you need to come meet with the community. Even if you don't have something signed on the dotted line, you need to come and give our locals an update. And they've not given me a date or really even much of a response other than an acknowledgement. So I was pushing and trying to get answers. Where are you in the process here? And in January of last year, the EPA gave a presentation, and this was one of the slides. And so here it outlines 3 options that the EPA has. So right now, essentially, once EPA approved that design in September, it goes into a bit of a negotiation phase, saying, how is this going to proceed? Can we come to an agreement with the responsible parties on how this will proceed? If the EPA can come to an agreement, then they enter into a consent decree. If they cannot come to an agreement, EPA has 2 options under the law. One is to issue an administrative order, or a UAO, a unilateral administrative order, forcing the companies to carry out the cleanup as ordered by EPA. Now, under that scenario, the companies still pick the contractors. They still are the ones carrying it out. And EPA provides oversight, which is what most of this process has been. Almost every single step of this process, including the Southern Waste Pits cleanup, almost every single step has been a UAO from the very beginning. These companies have not entered into negotiation or completed negotiations in good faith with the EPA. The EPA has gotten to the point almost every single time and had to issue a federal order to do the work. I mean, it's ridiculous. The parties have shown time and time again, right? There's no incentive for them to do this. And so, the other option, the third option, is for the EPA to say, enough is enough, we are taking over. We're going to do the cleanup, and then we're going to bill you for the cost of the cleanup. EPA has, again, the legal authority to bill them triple the cleanup cost, which now, with how construction costs have increased, particularly since 2017 when they first estimated over $100 million for the cleanup. This cleanup, if EPA billed them triple the cost, would be almost $1 billion. EPA has that authority. They're not using it. So the last time, in the first Trump administration, when they issued the record of decision, we all held our breath, thinking, oh boy, this is going to go to court and this is about to get really contentious. But what happened was, they used the law as a tool and said, this is how we want this to be carried out. This is what we have decided will take place for the cleanup. And if you don't enter into this next phase to do the design work, we can come after you for triple the cost. And we're not afraid to do it. And very quickly, the companies got in line and began the design work. So are they going to do it again? I don't know. So I pressed, are you guys prepared to utilize every ounce under Superfund law, every ounce of your authority to get this site cleaned up? This administration says you want to clean up Superfund sites. What are you waiting on? So I said, do you have a timeline? How long are you going to give them? Can you tell me so I can tell the community? Are you going to give them 60 more days? Are you going to give them 90 more days? And they won't tell me. They said it's in legal right now, and the project managers cannot disclose any information. For all we know, they can make a decision tomorrow, or they can make a decision in 5 more months. But there's enough, more than enough information for them to make a very well-informed decision to move this site towards cleanup. But they have to make that decision. So I actually, just a few minutes ago, got an email back from EPA headquarters because I'm trying to get to meet with the head of the EPA. Because this site and one of the other prime example sites that the federal government has used for Superfund are both in the same standstill process, right where we are right now. Early on, they came in and made a decision, and then now we wait. So we have a petition here tonight. I believe we also have a letter. But the petition is something that I hope you will all sign. I see this site is not loading up here on the main screen. Oh wait, no, I have to click probably. Okay. So here we were in September. At least we have a plan. Finally we have a plan. And then now where we are today. Implement the plan. Get it done, guys. I think we actually have more engineers per capita here in Harris County than anywhere else in the U.S. I read that once. I don't know if that's an outdated, stat or not, but yeah, but come on, it's not like we lack the information or the technical ability to do this. It's politics, sadly. But you know what? We've impacted it before.
It's a cash cow.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
It's a cash cow.
Yeah.
You said a while ago, it's illegal. Why would they want to resolve this? You need to continue to wash, rinse, and repeat, and do it over and over again, which keep drawing you money. That's the gig. That's why they don't want it to stop. They're making so much money off of this. Imagine how many engineering firms are making money off this. They go in and they know that they're not going to meet the criteria, but they put out something. So they can come back and get money. That's why.
Redo it, do an update. Yeah. No, you're right, but in many ways. Carrying it out for shareholders, less of a hit over many more quarters. So CERCLA and Superfund is a broken regulatory system, like so many systems. And we have to make it work. We have to make the wheels turn. Because I can not even tell you how many Superfund sites there are around this country that are not seeing any movement at all. And it's because they don't have a community like we have here. And when the proposal for the cleanup at this site came out under the Obama administration, we were not happy with it. It wasn't strong enough. We wanted all the waste out of the river, out of that northern pit particularly. And so we organized over 55,000 voices around a full cleanup. And that's what they need to see. Our voices, our community members matter, all of us. And so it's going to take us making them do the right thing.
So who speaks up for us? Our politicians? Is that where we go? Because that's the only place you can really get any pressure within the government, is through politicians.
Yeah,
Where are our politicians representing us?
sure,
Where's Babbitt? I've never seen him come up here.
yeah,
Where are they? Come on.
yeah,
Seriously, dude. That's ground zero, right?
Yeah.
Where are the people that we vote for? Where are they? Speak up for us. Or are they speaking up for us? Who
We've
are we
asked
voting
that
for,
many
folks?
a time.
The only thing we have here to move this thing forward is to get the politicians on our side. How do we do that?
right,
No,
We can't even get them here.
If they won't come here, if they won't acknowledge us,
Right.
or if they're not serving our needs, then
Exactly.
why are we voting for them?
Exactly.
Why? I mean, seriously.
It's time
This is the
to
level.
change that.
I want to know where our politicians, Commissioner Ramsey came here. That was very nice of him. You know, I like Commissioner Ramsey. But he's at the bottom of the list. How do we get him
Right.
on this list?
So, I'll tell you a little bit about what I know. Briscoe Kane's office emailed me today and let me know that she was sick, the gal was sick and would not be here tonight. So I am a little surprised because we usually do have representation from a couple of congressional offices here. The people I communicate most regularly with, who call me and ask, hey, what's going on, is Crenshaw and Babin. And Babin, he's been involved for a very long time. But yes, these are the people that we should be calling, most certainly. And Christy, I don't think we have any of the.
I get Babbitt's newsletter.
Do you?
And he goes through all these events all the time. And I'm not trying to be political.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately,
You
it
see him
is.
go to all the industries, he supports industries, that's fine. I have nothing against the industry. I made a lot of money off of the industry around here. So I'm not anti-industry. I'm anti-pollution. So anyway, that being said, I know that they send some of their office people. I've seen them here several times. But what are they reporting back?
Right.
Why can't we get just one evening with one of our representatives?
Why can't we get the horse here? Yeah,
We're not asking for much.
that's right.
I will carry that message, most certainly. And so what we'll do is we will send copies of these petitions as well to the congressional representatives in the area so that they see that the real people who live here care about
What I'd
this.
like to see is Mr. Babin's newsletter come out, and we'll insert over there, visited the San Jacinto River Coalition. That's what I'd like to see.
Okay.
Put it on paper. He'll put a few check marks in this box for us.
Sure. No, that's fair. That's completely fair. I know he has come out over the years to certain things. I mean, not to one of our meetings, but certain things happening at the waste pits. It's past time.
It is.
It's past time for some very serious action to take place at this site. And it is going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us in the community. It's going to take all of our elected officials. And it's going to take us all pushing to get this done.
I'm not trying to be political. Everybody has their own viewpoints, and they're entitled to their viewpoints. But the only thing we can do is vote for the people who represent us. That's what we need to do.
If they cared about our vote, they would be here, wouldn't you think?
Yes, Lisa.
Well, we got people here, we can,
If Babin put out a little insert in his newsletter, it'd be good publicity for it.
yeah. Well, they're all politicking right now, so they ought to be running around.
Yeah, we can't believe we're in this thing.
Could you send him an invitation? An engraved invitation, maybe?
Not engraved.
Maybe we need to do that.
Maybe so. Yes, Lisa.
I would point out that Congress is in session right now, so we want them there voting for what we need. I would also point out that we do have a new voice from Harris County, in that former county attorney Menifee has been very active with respect to this site. Now is a voice in Congress. So I agree that that's where we need to be. I also want to point out, as you said, this isn't partisan or anti-industry. For those who've been involved with this a long time, back in, I think, 2016, hard to believe that's been 10 years ago, when this was under review, through the efforts not only of this organization, but Galveston Bay Foundation, a variety of other organizations interested in hunting, fishing, pollution, got all 8 representatives, 4 Democrat, 4 Republican, it's not partisan, to say we want the removal at the wayside. And yes, it's going to take political pressure. At that time, as Jack has already said, we had 55,000 names on various letters and petitions. That's what people listen to. So part of it is you're asking, why aren't they here? They're in session. The other question to ask is, are you contacting them regularly? Because that's how they hear from you. So Jackie's got the petition, but I will argue it's a two-way street. Now, yes, should we be having more representatives from these entities showing up here? Absolutely. But
Well, because of these things that just a
Yeah.
handful of us.
and sometimes
Long,
have
long
been,
time. I've never seen it of them.
some of them have been here on it.
You're still ignored when you leave voicemail after voicemail after voicemail and you never hear anything.
I know, but eventually,
Nothing happens.
eventually they'll get the message if 5,000, even if 100 people are calling them, that will be considered really major feedback.
It would.
So, yes, but it's something that needs to work both ways.
It's time to get creative, and it's definitely time to get fired up. Enough is enough. Beyond, it is far past
We want
enough.
movement from them, we just need some movement from us then.
You bet.
Maybe we need to form a party and visit them.
Yeah.
You have a little effort to take one of our representatives to send an email to the PTA. How about what effort it takes?
You know that there's people on the list today.
Yes, yes, Sarah. I think I have a slide about that. Yes. Yeah, no, thank you. Okay, so a couple of updates also related to the site. So we get calls pretty regularly that there are people fishing from boats either on that buoy line or within that buoy line. And how many of you know what's in that buoy line?
Those fish
Okay,
won't cross
so
that buoy line.
Certainly not. The northern waste pit is in that buoy line, and we know that the fish in the area are highly contaminated, but the fish are plentiful, and it is a good fishing spot. It gets very deep right there. And so regularly we get reports about people fishing here, and I think this is actually a video here, so let me in my low technology, yeah, right? And my low technology abilities, let me try to do this and not be too loud or anything, so.
Say it's a good fishing place over here. I'm hoping to get the big reds and flounder off the bottom here. That big fish right there.
It's good fishing over here. Gonna have a big fish fry.
The bottom.
Okay, so what we started doing is I have a very long email chain with the remedial project manager at the Waste Pit, or for the Waste Pit Superfund site. And every week, or every time, which sometimes is 3 or so times a week, I get phone calls that there are people in boats fishing here. And sometimes there's more than one boat there fishing. When y'all see people fishing anywhere in that area, call me, text me, email our info if you want. Let us know, because I have the long email chain going on with the project manager, and every single Friday, he has to turn in a report of the activities and any community concerns in that report. So every week, he gets to say 3 reports, 5 votes, etc. in that, and that climbs the chain. And it's just making that trail, right? The squeaky wheel. And so even if he's getting calls, he has to put that in his log. Yes, Anna?
A little bit off the subject, but people are now walking down from right at the corners.
Okay.
They are walking down there all the time. There are 2 or 3 or 4 cars parked right there at the edge of 2100, and they walk down and fish.
Okay.
I've been seeing that for months.
Right there where the Lynchburg side?
Right.
Right where the, no, on the Highland side, right by the drainage now.
Okay. On the River Authority property, right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're cutting through the River Authority property to get to it.
Yeah, right, it's where the Domino's and the gas station used to be, directly across from it.
Okay. Let us know. You're not bugging us. Please, feel like you're bugging us, though.
Over there, parking the ditch, that's what they're doing.
Okay.
And I was wondering, so now that's confirmed.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen them getting their fishing poles out and walking down.
Carolyn?
For further awareness action, could y'all put this or something similar to this on the Chick Facebook page? And everybody in here who has a page, Facebook page or something, post it to it?
Yeah, I love that. So I'm not tech savvy enough to do that, but I'm sure someone on my team could figure it out. So what we'll do is we will get this video onto our Facebook, and then we will share it to some of the local groups that we know about. And I really hope that this will help raise awareness as well, as people are talking about, did you see that person fishing there? Well, yeah, what does it matter? Well, you're not supposed to be fishing there. We're going to report it to Jackie, and we're going to report it to the coalition. And so I hope that this will also spark up conversations, and sharing that online is a great way.
Yeah. And maybe add in there, you know, the dangers,
Yeah,
or why it's not good fishing.
yeah, great idea.
Jackie, I've talked to so many of them. They walk down they park on the end of my road, walk down the railroad tracks, go over there and fish all the time, and I've talked to them. Oh, it's okay, we don't need them, we don't need them.
Uh-huh.
No, we're just gonna fish, we're just gonna. I said, you know what, if you wanna play in the water, okay,
Uh-huh.
whatever, what can you say?
So, from time to time, our team and oftentimes volunteers go out and do fish consumption advisory outreach. It sounds like we should connect with you to maybe see about going down there and talking with folks. Or even leaving you with maybe some literature that you can hand them.
I did,
You have?
I did, remember, it's like, not last meeting, but the one before, I got a whole bunch of cards and papers, and I was giving them out. They were written in Spanish and everything else. And
Yeah.
I was giving, oh, it's okay, it's okay. Okay, if it's okay for you, it's okay for me, then I don't care.
You tried?
And just like the signs out there, there's signs out there warning no fish.
Okay. Christy, will you make a note for us to get this fishing video circulating on social media, please? I don't want to forget.
I'll make you one this weekend because Friday and Saturday, they're on both sides of I-10 on the west side.
Are
And
they?
out there on the buoys, every weekend.
Yeah, if it is safe for you to get a photo,
Hell, I
Please.
carry a gun.
what'd you say?
Body. Carry gun.
Oh, well, I mean more so like if you're driving, I don't want you to be unsafe, but hey, I get that too. I get that too, G. Okay, so Sarah mentioned earlier that she saw people out at the site. So they are doing their Q1 survey right now. So this week they've started their Q1 survey, and then on the week of the 18th, they will start their Q1 inspection. So you all will see activity at the waste pits for the next few weeks. Nothing's being cleaned up. It's an inspection. And the remedial project manager actually let me know, because I was like, why are you letting me know? Like, what's different about this one? And he said that he knows community concern is heightened, and so he requested that the responsible parties let him know before going on the site. Because anytime people are on site, someone lets me know, and I'm like, what's going on out there, you know? And so, which is good. Y'all are the eyes and the ears, and that is what moves this stuff where it needs to be. And so, he's supposed to get a heads up before they go on site, and that's what this was. So for a few weeks, see what you see going on over there. And if you see anything funny, let me know.
Probably no fishing.
Hopefully
I'll
not.
go out there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Jackie on you.
Yeah. So I have an update for y'all that is not on this, not here, not what I was planning to update y'all on, but we just got an update as of 5:45 tonight. How many of y'all remember in 2024 when we started a GoFundMe for our dear community member Greg Moss, whose home got burned down in the river bottom? Okay, some of you. So Greg Moss is the eyes and the ears of the river bottom, and he has been instrumental in our ability to help push back on barge permits and things happening north of I-10 and within the waste pits area of concern. And I think it was in February of 2024, there was a very big Amnesty International news story. Greg was front and center, and it was about the barges, their impacts, how they've grown, how they're skating through the regulatory process. And then ABC 13 and local outlets picked up the Amnesty story. And that week, Greg's house was burned down. And it was declared arson. The guy who did it is on video doing it. And he, in the criminal case, went to trial last week. And as of 5:50 this evening, the jury found the arsonist guilty. So Greg lost it all, but he has an ounce. I can't look Easter, I'm gonna cry. he has an ounce of justice. I mean, he lost everything. He called my mom and he's like, you don't think about these things. I don't have a toothbrush. I don't have shoes.
Yeah.
He lost everything because someone put this guy up to burning the house down. And I hope more details of that will come out in a legal matter. So that took place tomorrow. The jury will announce their decision on his sentencing, but at 5:50, less than 15 minutes after the jury went away to deliberate, they came back out with the guilty verdict.
Well, that made it worth coming down here tonight.
All right.
Sorry, Jackie.
Hey, we'll take all for Greg.
Jackie, I want to add one thing to that.
Yes.
Is not only did they find him guilty of arson, they found him guilty of arson with a deadly weapon.
Oh.
So a special charge.
Arson with a deadly weapon.
Because
The pipe?
fire
Fire, okay.
is deadly weapon. But there was different criteria for that, so it met both.
So it was arson and arson with a deadly weapon.
With the gasoline, right?
Mhm.
Arson is the fire, right?
Arson is the fire.
Yeah.
And the
So with a
deadly-
deadly weapon, with the gasoline.
Well, fire itself is a deadly weapon. But it takes, for some reason, it takes different criteria to make it fire with a deadly weapon.
Different levels of arson.
Yes. So it went to that, so it met those charges.
And Carolyn and some others, close to us in this have been at the trial every day. And, I've been there for Greg, and people who speak up and speak against pollution and things being done wrong in their environment shouldn't have to be afraid of things like this. And we think things like this won't happen, especially if the polluter is well known, you know, but these things do happen, and it did happen.
But they don't care anymore. There's retaliation everywhere now.
Yeah, and people have had to live
People
in
are
fear.
afraid to say anything. Yeah.
During the trial, did he name who put him up to it?
Yes.
So, yes,
What was the question? We can't hear.
thank you, if he named who put him up to it in the trial, yes, he did. It was he named a barge company. Yeah.
What-
So there was
Who was the name of the barge company?
a lot of names did come out. So,
And I think that
Yes.
information was in the fume video.
a fair amount of information, and David has been there reporting it, interviewing, getting a lot on record, so much more to come in fumes.
Right.
And I look forward to the day that the video and all of these details are able to come to light, because it is just insane
Yeah.
what has happened here.
What was the name of the barge company?
I'll tell you later.
I mean, the barge company was mentioned, but there was two particular people that were heavily mentioned. So those, yes, more to come,
Yeah.
but the other two people were more heavily discussed. You know.
Yeah. All right. You asked if there was going to be an update, and I told you I have a lot of updates. So the next update, a little less exciting, but Jeannie, who was the project manager for the Sanders Center Bridge replacement with TxDOT, she has retired. So hopefully her replacement is going to be a bit more engaged, because Jeannie was ready to retire and uninterested. So I'm hoping that the new person with TxDOT that we hope to meet soon will be engaged in this issue and take our concerns seriously, because the bridge replacement is now expected to step into that southern waste pit. And so though it's been remediated, every single person believes there is waste still left on site.
The last information I saw on that was the bridge expansion has been put off until 2030.
I had not seen that.
Oh yeah, that's been a while back. That was like sometimes the first of last year, the middle of last year, when I saw that.
So yeah, I think that because there's a lot of different sections, and so last year, I'm not recalling the month.
Yeah, not even to
last
start
year-
till 2030.
Correct. The construction start. Yes, not decisions. Yes, yes.
Not decisions.
Right, construction.
Decisions don't mean nothing until you turn the
So-
shovel over.
So yes, construction, which would very much coincide as well with the remediation, hopefully, of the remediation of the
would be a
northern pit.
mess.
Yeah,
Well, they can't start the construction until the remediation's complete, right?
not correct. So they are planning to do both at the same time. And so some of the conditions that the EPA signed, so the question was that they can't start the bridge replacement until the remediation is complete. Is that right? Yeah. So what they're planning to do is both at the same time. And that was not the original idea, but it's kind of where we are, with no decisions being made, no big decisions or action being made at the Superfund site. So what they're looking at, because they use the same access road, is widening the access road, and they've come up with a whole plan on how to manage the two-way traffic for the two projects. But there were still details that were insufficient in the latest remedial design for the waste pits cleanup. And so that's one of the things that EPA commented on that we pushed back on quite a bit. You know, if you're preparing to start this construction, you surely should have figured out how everyone's going to access the same area. So,
Is your map that you had before still good of the area that they were gonna, where they were gonna put the sheep pilings?
yes.
The access roads and everything, and what was gonna be going on there? I mean, they can't excavate up here for a bridge over there without doing something with the waste that they removed.
Yeah, and I don't have a slide on that, but yes, that nothing has changed, so.
I should love the shop, they'd start the pit long before then.
Well,
And if they did, there wouldn't be quite a problem.
so if they did, it's like a 2-point part. If they did start it, and if they held true to, they being EPA, if they, because they're the ultimate target here, they're the ones who make this decision. The responsible parties, if they wanted to clean it up, they wouldn't have been forced by the federal government. Let's be honest. So the EPA has the decision. If EPA decides to clean it up quickly, and in the 2 years that the EPA estimated it would take, then, so let's see, 2030, it would be 2030, because
They could be
EPA
done and
says
dusted and be out of there.
if they enter into this next part of the Superfund process now,
Yeah.
it would take 2 years to see dirt moved.
Mhm.
And then it would take 2 years to clean up. So 2030, yeah.
So added pressure.
Yeah, TxDOT should be an ally here. They should be. Yeah. Okay, so quickly on the cancer assessment that was done and released in February of last year, we received a tremendous amount of, I'm not going to, actually, let me retract that. So we asked the state health department to study the health within this red area here. They studied 22 types of cancer, and rather than giving us the information on those cancer types broken into the smaller geographic zone, they just blanketed the area of having an abnormal rate of 4 types of cancer. So we've been pushing, we've sent, over 170 letters from locals. Many elected officials of every level have been involved in trying to get the state to move to give census tract or smaller zone data. The state has stood firm that they don't have any additional information. We know for a couple of reasons, one being how they did the study. They have the data. They do have the information. So we know for that reason. But also, they have now handed off some of the data to 2 entities. They have given some of the data to Houston Methodist Neal Cancer Center, but my understanding is that it's less than half of the types of cancer that were studied in the February 2025 study. And that they've changed a number in the statistics. So there's, in my opinion, some funky business going on. So they also gave Harris County Public Health Department a similar data set. Again, less than half of the types of cancers studied. I have not seen the data from either entity, but I know for a fact that they have it. The data you all have asked for, it exists. It exists. And we're just being denied this information. So, to me, I was talking with one of my mentors, and she had let me know about a campaign a community did, and it was that you're insulting our dignity. And I'm thinking, like, they're denying us data and they're insulting our dignity. It's just, it's the community's data. And they're not.
We paid for it.
Yeah. You're right.
Legally, can they deny us the data? Aren't they breaking the law by denying us that data?
The Records Act.
Yeah, I'm assuming you put in a FOIA request and they stonewall?
We have not put in a FOIA request. Yeah, no, we have not. Many have, who we have worked with and supported, but we have not put in a FOIA request for it.
But you have in writing requested it,
Oh, absolutely.
and they
Absolutely.
denied it, so.
We want them to give us their data and not just the aggregate numbers. We want to see what they came up with. But several, including elected officials' offices, have put in FOIAs for it, or Public Information Act requests.
I was thinking, so, not that versed on it, but I was thinking that if you request it, they have to provide it legally. They have to provide it.
They do, if they have it.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, they're
provide a
claiming,
reason why they're not.
right, they're claiming that they don't have the data, but we know full and well that they do. So that claim is just simply not correct. Hopefully Harris County Public Health is going to be releasing the data fairly soon. So we should be able to see any time now. I was told like 2 weeks ago that they were going to release it. So literally like any time now, the county should be releasing what they've had. And I've already told them, like, I'm not saying we're going to be happy with it or that we are, you know, because there's a good chance we're not. So let us see what you guys have. And then Methodist is planning to create an interactive online tool for the public to use to toggle through the data. But again, it's only as good as the statistical computation. So we will be digging into those details. So we'll keep you posted on when those items are released and the next steps in trying to get the state to release it.
Jackie,
Yes, bud?
I'm curious.
Yes.
In that study, do they evaluate workplace exposure? Because so many people work in industrial communities. And how would you differentiate between industrial at-will diseases
Yeah.
versus the communal, general public?
Yeah, that's a great question, Bud. So he asked if in the study they look at workplace exposures. And so the study is not intended to look at exposures. It's only pulling cancer rates. And so it does not intend to show an association or any type of cause. And so part of why we need the more granular data is to be able to see, you know, are there pockets of more increased rates of cancer in one area than another?
So in the prior study, they identified statistically high matches between census tracts and types of cancer. And there's, what, 60-ish, I think, census tracts in this. And what's useful is you can see where the higher incidents are. For example, we know in this whole big 200 plus square mile area, there's a lot of extra leukemia. Well, if we know in which census tracts you have the highest rates, that will give us more information. For example, if the census tracts closest to where the barges are stored, you know that I said stored instead of transported within the river, that would give us some data that there might be an association there. Or if it tends to be in the northern area versus the southern area, what's different? And it's very clear it's not going to show cause and effect. We're just doing incident rates. But you see, if we know where the problems are and what the worst diseases or cancers are in those areas, it gives us more data to truly start digging into what the causes might be and get people investigating it better. Is that making sense?
Well, it's kind of confusing to me because it's not about the barges. It's about the waste pits. It's about the groundwater. It's about the contamination. that's been here for years.
Right, I'm saying there could be 10 different things or more contributing to the problem.
No,
Larger
you're right,
contaminated.
it's like you said, it could be workplace environment also.
But-
So many folks are like my age,
Yeah,
back when we were working in industrial plants, 20, 30 years old, they didn't have EPA regulations. I remember going to the Washburn Tunnel when they had it closed down because it was afraid the ship channel was going to catch on fire.
it did catch on fire. It actually did, but that's a
A
big.
lot later, yeah.
But my father, my grandfather worked at Champion Paper.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're not going to get those answers tonight, but the issue is the more information you have, the closer we get to having, you know, where do we need to look more closely? And it's going to be a step-by-step process.
And not to mention the barges stir up the silt. When they come in and out, they're going out of all those pipelines, they're dragging their anchors, they're stirring up that dirt that's right there on that dioxin pit.
Dragging their anchors.
Well, wherever they're anchoring, whatever they do, they're dragging that earth up by coming in and out of that little tiny narrow way.
Well,
They
if
are
they're
dragging
doing
that
that,
silt
then there
up.
needs to be a blockade and people from going in there.
Well, we
That's-
would love that, but they're destroying that bay and contaminating it with benzene and all kinds of chemicals.
And every time they dredge the ship channel, all the land subsides and slides right off of there again. And it reveals even more dioxins.
All right, so we're going to switch gears. A lot of different things to cover tonight. Okay, so how many of you are familiar with the Center for Health, Environment, and Justice, or Love Canal? All right. Okay, so the Center for Health, Environment, and Justice was born out of Love Canal. I'll call the center CHEJ for short. And it came out of Niagara Falls, New York, when a community came to realize that they were built on top of a toxic, basically a toxic dumping site. It was their barrels originally dumped. And so I want to show you guys a video and then talk to you a little bit more about CHEJ and why this is relevant to us today.
Was that our friend Aaron?
Brockovich? No.
No.
It's our friend Lois. Our friend Lois Gibbs.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We need an Aaron.
Yes.
Or Tom Fenton. Maybe we need Tom Fenton down here.
We have Jackie.
Yeah, but Jackie's not aggressive as he is.
I don't know, I feel
He'll put a request on like that.
Okay. So we're going to watch a video for a little bit.
It was at Love Canal, a community in upper New York State near Niagara Falls, where one woman found her life's work, making sure what happened in her town would not happen in yours.
I moved to Love Canal in the fall of 1974. I totally had the American dream. People called me deli domestic. I stayed home all day. My biggest decision was what we were going to have for supper.
But Lois's dream fell apart when her children developed illnesses that almost cost them their lives. Lois made a decision.
I decided I needed to go door to door and talk to people about whether they feel the same way I do, that the school is a danger.
She found many parents with sick children and people desperate for answers.
When we talk about the hysterical housewife, at that point, we qualified hands down. We were screaming and crying. What happened to our children?
This is what made them so sick at Love Canal, a toxic waste dump. More than 20,000 tons of deadly chemicals buried in the midst of their quiet community. Lois became their leader as more parents began to link illnesses and miscarriages to the seeping dump.
I know from my own family experience that there are other children in this area that are not even in danger, but are damn right out dying.
We were told that we should not eat out of our gardens, we should not allow our children in the backyard, we should not go in the basement, we should not get pregnant. In America, you grow up believing that government will help you, government will solve your problems. And I realized then that it wasn't going to, and that something else needed to happen. We did this health survey, and we found where there was clustering of diseases, miscarriages, stillborns, and clusters of like birth defects and similar birth defects. We just found disease after disease and weird diseases. You know, a 12-year-old child who had a hysterectomy due to cancer, a 21-year-old man who died of crib death, and the health department looked at it, picked up the study, I mean literally, and threw it on the floor.
We want to move when we're still healthy. We don't want to stay here and die. Are you going to live there with your wife? Are you going to put your kids there?
For 2 years, officials stalled, claiming no link between the chemicals and the medical problems.
I want a reason why.
President of the Love Canal Homeowners Association, has taken 2 EPA officials hostage.
We're not going to do anything wild. We're just going to keep them in the house. Nothing more than that. Body barricade the doors. Okay? Sounds good enough. And don't let them out. If it's so safe for us, then it ought to be safe for EPA too, don't you think? They shut the door, and people sat on the porch and blocked the door and all the way around the house and refused to move. And so I called the White House to say we were holding EPA officials temporarily until President Jimmy Carter gave us evacuation of all residents. When I first began organizing Love Canal, I thought it was a scientific fight. All we had to do was prove the chemicals were there, that they were moving, that people were sick, and everything would be somehow handled by government. But the biggest lesson I learned is it's not about science, it's about politics. On October 1st, 1980, President Jimmy Carter came to the Civic Center in Niagara Falls and signed the appropriation to permanently relocate everybody.
Love Canal propelled Lois into national prominence. She became known as the mother of the Superfund law. At the Center for Health, Environment, and Justice, we have shared the lessons of Love Canal with 8,000 other communities.
The Center for Environmental Health and Justice is what it's called, and we help grassroots groups across the country who are faced with environmental threats.
One place we helped was Kettleman City, California, a Mexican-American migrant community. Across America, it's neighborhoods like this one that are targeted by waste haulers and the chemical industry. At Kettleman lies the nation's 4th largest waste dump, operated by ChemWaste. The company had already been fined $38 million for illegal dumping and burning of PCBs. So when they decided to add a toxic waste incinerator, the residents of Kettleman began to fight back.
We found a flyer on our door, and it says Skull and Bones. And it said incinerator, and come to a meeting. And my family had been suffering a lot of respiratory problems, and I thought, well, maybe this has something to do with it, and I decided to go to the meeting.
Siempre que hay juntas de ChemWaste, hay que tomar nosotros el control.
People knew the incinerator would create new health problems. They turned to the Center for Health, Environment, and Justice for help. We taught them how to organize themselves and develop a strategy to fight the polluters.
Don't you get tired of dumping on Kettleman City? Once again, you're going to stick it to us?
It's kind of too late for you to come at the very last minute and make these allegations.
As so often happens, the county government sided with ChemWaste with their promise of increased revenue. They kept the local residents out of the loop by conducting most of their work in English.
They keep telling us that they don't translate all the ERI report because we wouldn't understand, or we don't understand their business. Statements like that make you feel pretty bad that you're being told you're dumb.
The residents sued ChemWaste and the county government. They charged that the company had selected Kettleman as part of a nationwide pattern of placing toxic waste facilities in poor and minority communities. We helped them publicize their cause. And once the spotlight of national attention focused on their plight, they won. With our help, another community found its voice.
Since 1980, there hasn't been one new hazardous waste commercial landfill built in this country. It's not because it's illegal, it's because people won't allow it. So actually things are getting better, but the work continues.
The work continued at Wagner's Point in Baltimore, Maryland. 6 blocks of row houses and 96 families encircled by chemical plants and oil refineries. Lifelong residents Louise and John Rajak saw a disturbing rise in cancer cases and blamed John's own leukemia on the chemical plants that surround them.
There's 20-something to 30 just in this block and this block that have passed away from cancer, some form of cancer.
You have to say exactly what you want to do. Call the mayor.
Residents called the center, and we responded with advice and training.
We are looking for comparable housing in residential neighborhoods.
We give people the tools they need to fight their own battles.
We'd like the mayor to show some leadership to help us find funding.
What I see in Debbie is me. 20 years ago, a woman who's very passionate about what she cares about in her family, her community, taking step by step, being nervous about every single step, but taking it just to say, nobody's going to come in and hand it to them. Nobody's going to say, gee, this is wrong, and we got to make it right. The people have to make it happen. We really are about helping grassroots people find their voices, speak out, and then bring those voices to the front.
We've had 41 cancer deaths.
In Pensacola, Florida, the people won. We helped 350 African-American families win evacuation from their chemically contaminated neighborhood.
We ran a full-page ad in USA Today to say, President Clinton, put muscle behind your words, evacuate Pensacola families. We demanded attention and we demanded action. And, you know, it took us a while, but we got it. But it wasn't because the system works by itself. It was because American people have to force the system to work.
No way, EPA, no way! No way, EPA, no way!
The people of New Bedford, Massachusetts are hostage to their river, filled with deadly industrial poisons.
PCD, a direct indoctrination. We don't want incineration.
The EPA said they'd solve the problem by building a huge incinerator to burn the toxic chemicals. With our help, the local residents and town officials fought back and stopped the incinerator.
2, 4, 6, 8. Stop the park before it's too late.
We've already helped thousands of communities, and each year we respond to 1,500 new calls for help. Why do we do it?
Oh, because I'm still angry. I am still very angry because each and every day in this country, somebody's making a decision about who can be sacrificed for whose profit or benefit. How dare they? How dare they do that?
In Marion, Ohio, technicians test for chemicals outside a school near a former Army dump. In Houston, Texas, there's a new school planned just a quarter mile from industries that spew smoke into the air. After all those years since Love Canal, the basic problems remain. Toxic chemicals are still threatening the health and safety of entire communities, and especially children.
We're building schools today on top of toxic sites. It's just, I mean, it really is criminal.
We've taken our campaign for safe schools all the way to Congress. Once again, deadly chemicals are threatening children with increasing rates of asthma, learning disorders, or even cancer.
1,196 schools are within a half-mile of a known toxic waste site. Today, new schools are being built on or near chemically contaminated land or near industrial facilities with toxic emissions.
What did Love Canal teach us? That we must fight to be heard, and that a determined people will always prevail.
For those of you who are out there struggling today, those of you who think you can't do it, this is a shining example of yes, you can. You can do it. We did it. Thank you all for all that you have done.
For over 25 years, we've helped guide local communities in their fight for safe water, clean air, and an environment where children can thrive. Yet every day new people call, desperate for our aid and expertise. Yes, our commitment remains strong, but in these difficult times, we are asking for your help. With your support, together we will make a crucial difference in the health and safety of our nation's children. Your support will ensure that the promise of the American dream is a real promise, that people can...
I think that's a good place to
stop, because so many of us, it's been about the American dream. I know my family moving to Highlands was. One second. It's back on. Okay. Well, as you can see, Lois has probably been a pretty good mentor of mine, because you've heard actually several of the things I said tonight Lois say in that video. So I've been very fortunate to have had the Center for Health, Environment, and Justice come here, probably 11 years ago, 12 years ago, for the first time, and have had close mentorship and worked closely with them since. And that video is 20 years old. So the center has helped people for over 44 years. And as of this year, Thea is going to be the new home of CHEJ. So Lois has retired, and we will very soon publicly have a national center within Thea that helps communities just like ours. So we've talked tonight about a very important and a very big fight that we have here. And I want you all to know that I'm not going anywhere, and that Thea is not going anywhere. This is my hometown, and this is what started Thea. And our hearts, our passion, everything remains, our commitment remains. But we have an opportunity here to grow, to be able to help people just like us across the nation. And we will still focus closely on Superfund and historical waste sites, but we will provide grassroots leadership, skills and training, as well as science and technical expertise. How we will differ is that we've led right alongside local residents here. Being a local resident, we've led this fight. We won't be leading other communities' fights around the country. We will help people in those communities learn the ins and outs of the process, gain the tools, and help them lead their own fights. Now, through this process, we've been fortunate to acquire CHEJ's scientists. And so we now have our team scientist, who is incredible and hand-trained by the Love Canal toxicologist. And he is already helping us. He just wrote a really great blog that we're sending out this week via email about all of the different chemical exposures that go on in this area and how government is getting it wrong. And it's a great blog. And so he's really helping us break down the different exposures, but also he can do the remediation type science and engineering. So we're really excited to have him on our team to help us here and beyond. So we're very excited. I've gotten mixed reviews from some of the community members that I've talked to so far. Some worried, how this might change our fight here. But I'm giving you my word that I'm not leaving this fight. Thea is not leaving this fight. My mom's not leaving this fight. We are heavily invested in seeing the waste pits cleaned up. Thanks, Sarah. So yeah, it's. I'll just say one more thing about that, and that it is an honor, most certainly an honor, to be able to carry forward the work that helped us and so many communities like us things. I mean, the center has helped well over 10,000 different communities. And so to be able to carry on all that they have done, it's truly a tremendous honor. And I think it also speaks to the stewardship and our ability to build what we have built here. Out of all of the communities, it was us. Out of all of the groups, all of the organizations that they've worked with, it was Thea that they wanted to carry on that legacy. So we don't take it lightly. All right, switching gears again. I think only like one more time, y'all, so bear with me. Okay, so 2 important upcoming town halls. I know some of you have seen the really great articles from Public Health Watch related to barges and other issues in this area. And Public Health Watch is going to host 2 upcoming town halls, February 19th here, and that will be about air and water pollution on the San Jacinto. Commissioner Ramsey, I think, is going to open up that town hall. We do expect some elected officials to be here. Please come. Bring friends, bring neighbors, bring family. They need to see that y'all care. And so showing up is one big step to help show, hey, we're here and we care about this. So I look forward to, I'll be on the panel discussion at the February 19th event. So we look forward to a productive conversation. And then on March 5th, they are having one that is going to focus more on the benzene and the barges. And then the March 5th will be in Channelview at the community center there. And again, different topic, same problems in the community. Strongly encourage all of you to attend. And David with Public Health Watch is the one that's been working on the podcast Fumed, which a couple of episodes are out, more to come. So the information for this is on the back of your agenda. And then you can also find information on our social media. You'll be getting more information via email as well as on our website. Okay. 2 updates. I just got this today, so I didn't have time to add it to any of the documents. Harris County Public Health is offering, Commissioner Garcia are offering free health screenings. There's going to be one at J.D. Walker, there's going to be one in Deer Park, and so these range from dental, vision, STD, cancer, vaccines, a whole variety of free health services. And so some of these flyers are at the check-in, and I just literally like downloaded these and printed them. So some of them are front and back, some of them are stapled. And so there's a variety of these over on the sign-in table. And then the other item, I wanted to make sure I shared that information with y'all because I think that's like absolutely a fabulous thing going on. On your agenda, you should have received one of these little pink rectangles stapled on. It has instructions for you, preferably, to go to Tiff's Treats. They have cookies and cakes and all kinds of sweets, and between February 9th to February 22nd, so if you want to send something to a loved one for Valentine's Day, you can follow these instructions, and they are giving 20% of their proceeds to Thea. And so, yes, one of our team members got us connected with this. It's a wonderful opportunity, especially being over Valentine's. So the instructions are here if you would so choose to support us in this way and send something sweet to a loved one. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So number 3 on here, it says, so this is the steps to do it, but it says to put, or that you're going to see 0.01 deducted from your total. That's not what the donation will be to Thea. It's literally like the system thing to mark it in their system along with the code. So it's 20% of the purchase if you input your code, which is on there, that will go to Thea.
Let's just make you know that you did it.
So you get a discount and a donation.
A penny discount. Woo!
Okay, so, questions. I know we've held y'all for a long time. I've got a few questions here, I see. And then we do have to be out of here by 8, so I will be checking the clock, and I have been checking the clock, so just wanted to let y'all know. Gene?
Okay, real quick. Are there any spies in here tonight?
Do you think?
Not that I know of.
You think a good spy would say,
Okay.
yeah, I'm a spy?
That video just told me something. You want attention with the EPA for the whole nation? Let's shut down I-10 with a protest.
There you go, Jane.
I was thinking, I know you're serious.
You damn right.
I know.
Yeah. How about right at the bridge, by the pits?
I think we need to put a billboard outside.
You know, look, we used to protest. Waste Management is headquartered here in Houston, and every time they had a shareholders meeting, we would protest. But it got really difficult to get community out there. But you're right, that's a prime spot.
That's little. You shut down I-10, it will make the national news every single channel.
That's for sure.
So, that ad that Lois mentioned in the paper, they planned that the day that Bill Clinton was going to that town. And they took out a full-page ad in USA Today, which back then probably meant more than it does today. But it was that ad that pushed him. Because then they're up against the wall, you know, with the public perception. And so you do have to take these steps to get a little bit creative and sometimes get into some good trouble.
Yeah, we definitely go to jail.
So could you just give President Trump a call, please? And, no, you, I'm talking to you.
He don't take my calls.
Oh, he doesn't take your calls anymore? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so I've got two questions. First, we've got redistricting, so we're getting a new congressman. We're losing Crenshaw.
Okay.
And there's two front-runner candidates. I'd like to know if you're planning on meeting with them and finding out what their take is on this, how dedicated they are, and then maybe making an official endorsement with the backing of all of us.
We, as a nonprofit, cannot make a political endorsement. So just to make that.
I think you're saying, yes, certainly. I think you're saying, though, they will.
Oh, they, yes.
If they will take a stance.
Yeah, but I mean, I want them to answer your questions, you know, so that we can compare the two people.
So, no is the short answer. We do not have meetings planned with the candidates, but we would certainly be happy to, and that is something that strategy-wise we do typically do.
Yeah, I'd be very interested in that.
Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to confront them, see what can you do.
So,
Will you?
Well,
right.
Like the NRA sends them a questionnaire, right? And then they give them a rating. That's a nonprofit organization too, the NRAILA. So we could do the same thing. But you know, you're the front man, so you gotta do it.
Sure. Yeah, we as an organization don't endorse. We never have.
No.
Yeah, but that doesn't stop us from doing any of the things you're saying. So I wanted to ask earlier, though, if any of you would be interested, you know, Bud and others talked a lot about meeting with congressional representatives. Who in here would be interested in going with us to meet with a congressman?
To Washington?
Here.
Huh?
Here.
Here.
Road trip.
Road trip.
Well, you don't want to go to Washington.
Well, I was thinking the road trip myself.
Okay.
Talk about toxic.
You know, what poverty is for everybody sending an email to them. You get 10, 100, 200 emails to them. That would get their attention.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
so
agree.
are we fixing to lose our contacts? Or are they going to change? Or are we going to have to start all over from square zero?
There's some politicians who don't want to hear from me. They've already heard from me before.
Do you have another question?
Yeah, the second question was,
Mostly.
I'm on the news
on the fishing,
Yeah.
if we know that it's toxic and we know that there's a buoy there for a reason, where's Fish and Game or the Coast Guard? Why aren't they out there enforcing this? I don't have a boat, or I'd go do it myself.
Well, I certainly appreciate that sentiment. It's the same question we've certainly asked over the years. It's not enforceable.
Well, but they can certainly advise the public. You know, they're there to protect the public, not eat donuts and cash checks.
Yeah, so when we've talked with Fish and Game, they've said that they don't have the manpower to patrol the area to advise people. And then we also have gotten the feedback, I guess if you will, the response that there's a fish consumption advisory, and that's not anything that they will get involved in or enforce because it's not enforceable. Some of them, you know, if you just talk to the individuals, they'll say, we see people, we tell them, but because it's not a ban, there's not any of the entities that are really interested or willing to do much about it. For a while, we were able to get the sheriff's office with their boat patrols to at least tell the people that you cannot keep what you catch right here. And even though, you know, it's not an enforceable ban, that's what they were telling people. But that stopped, about 2 commissioners ago. It wasn't something they were wanting to keep going.
Are we talking about this
Mr.
fish over here on this side where the dump is, or what about the nature center?
Yes.
Baytown is promoting the nature center and people fishing crab there all the time.
Yeah, and they have the piers for people to do it. Some of the piers have advisory signs, but nobody looks at them. They just march right past them out to the pier with their buckets and
They crab right under them on the west side.
And they didn't
under the bridge.
Yeah, there's signs right down there, and they basically tie their lines off to the post.
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy. You know, and our team for several years, every month, would come out and do fish consumption advisories, you know, sun up to sundown, and it got a bit dicey at times because people would get mad at our team for telling them. And so we kept, you know, kind of changing the type of paperwork we had, you know, rather than just coming with a problem, we then started coming with lists of food pantries and safer ways to fillet the fish if you are going to eat the fish. And it got really difficult to do.
Well, people smell.
That's true. Yes, Sarah.
Well, I was just a memory back. When we were talking to people at Market, Street Market. And we had the big old signs there, but we went there to talk to the people that were there to get, what were they doing? Crabbing. And one lady, she was pregnant, and she was carrying her bucket full of crabs back to the car. And I met her at the car, and I said, what are you going to do with them? Oh, we take them home and eat them. I said, oh, no, you don't want to do that. First of all, you're pregnant. You read that sign over there, it tells you should not eat that. And all that, and so I'm informing her of all this stuff. And then she said, well, where can we go to fish? And I said, nowhere in Texas.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly what I said.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've not followed up with that she's just fine. I was there.
Yeah. Okay, you gotta like remind me.
Okay.
Raise your hand. She has a couple of things that she'd like to say.
No.
First off, thank you all for showing up. I'm glad it's not freezing anymore so that you can show up.
It is freezing in here.
Just a couple things I wanted to talk about really quickly. One of them was, I go on the radio every month, and I was with a mental illness professional. And she said something that I couldn't believe, because I lived here for 15 years and never knew about it. So she works at mental hospitals, and she said that the biggest mental hospital that she's ever worked at was in Highlands. that had the highest rate of patients in it. I was surprised because nobody talks about that in this town. I don't know where it's at, but I find it interesting that she's worked all over Harris County, and yet the biggest, most mental health issues are right here in Highlands. That goes to show you that contaminants, dioxin, the things that are around us here do contribute to your mental well-being. Not to mention, it can take 10 or 20 years off your life being exposed to these chemicals. Some people go unfazed, but other people die at very young ages. It's not okay. I was really shocked to learn that because I lived here. Had I known that, I wouldn't have moved here and brought my family here. Yeah, well, that's true. Which then leads me into this. Along with being exposed and contaminated goes caregiving. So probably almost every face I see in this room, I know most of you have been a caregiver to a loved one, a friend, or a family member. Even dear sweet Mr. Freddie and Mrs. Freddie, they take care of their daughter, and he's 95, and this has been a lifelong effort for them. I know because I too, I take care of my husband who has multiple myeloma.